Hi dear students, hope that all of you have watched the first two parts of the poem Television written by Roald Dahl. And in the last class we had seen the dangers of watching television and why the parents allow their children to watch television. And the last class ended with a question that what did the parents do to entertain their children in the past before the invention of television? So that answer that we will discuss in today's class, and with that we will enter into the third theme of the poem, that is habit of reading. So the poet, he gives the answer. They used to read, they read and read and read and read and then proceed to read some more. So that is the answer. Before the invention of monster television, what children used to do in order to become happy and self-satisfied, or in order to entertain, they used to read. And what the parents did in order to entertain the children before the invention of television, they used to give more books to children and make them to read more books. So that was the thing in the past people used to do to their children, allowed them to read the books more and more time. They used to read, children, they used to read books, and once they finished one book, then another book, then they started to proceed reading more and more books. Then he continues, Great Scott, Gadsooks, Great Scott or Gadsooks, both are exclamations in order to express a surprise and wonder. So in a wonder manner he says, Great Scott, Gadsooks, one half of their lives was reading books. So half of their lives they spent for reading their books. In past, children they used to read books half part of their life. The nursery shelves held books galore. Galore means in abundance. The nursery shelves, they were filled with many books. And then books cluttered up the nursery floor. Cluttered means scattered in a disorder manner. So everywhere they could find books. The books, it cluttered or scattered on the nursery floor. So it is there in the shelves. Many books are there in the shelves, and again the books, they were scattered in a disordered manner on the floors of nursery. And in the bedroom, by the bed, more books were waiting to be read. And in the bedroom also there were many books, and there are books on the bed also. By the bed, by the side of the bed, children they used to keep the book. For what purpose? In order to read. More books were waiting to be read. Children, they had a habit of reading in the past. They were eager to read the books. So that was the thing parents do to entertain their children in the past. And that is the way how children become happy and self-satisfied in the past. How they used to read more and more book. Half of their lives they spent for reading books. Their nursery shelves, they were filled with many books, and nursery floors, everywhere books were scattered. And then coming to the bedroom, there are also many books to read, and by the side of bed there are also books. For what purpose? In order to read. And children they had a eagerness to read more and more books. Such a wondrous, fine, fantastic tales of dragons, gypsies, queues and whales and treasured isles and distant shores where smugglers rowed with muffled oars, and pirates wearing purple pants, and sailing ships and elephants, and cannibals crouching round the port, staring away at something hot. So here we will understand what types of books children used to read in the past. Such a wondrous, fine, fantastic tales. Tales means story. So wondrous, marvelous stories. They used to read such a marvelous, fantastic stories of dragons. The stories about dragons or the gypsies. Gypsies means the travelers. Then queens and whales, and then the treasure isles, the treasure islands. They used to read the stories about treasure islands and distant shores where smugglers rowed with the muffled oars. So they used to read the stories about the pirates or the smugglers or distant shores, the shores which are very far away, and the stories about the distant shores where these pirates or the smugglers they rowed means moving the boat forward with the muffled oars. So here muffled oars means muffled without creating any sound. So the pirates they used to move their boat forward in a very careful manner without making any sound. How? With the oars. Oars means it is a pole with a flat blade which makes or which helps the boat to move forward. So they used to travel on the sea or the river without making any noise with the flat blades. So they used to move on the sea or the river in a careful manner. The story about the pirates the children used to read. And pirates wearing purple pants. The stories about the pirates or the thieves, they wore purple pants. Children used to read the stories. And sailing ships and elephants. The stories about sailing ships and elephants. And cannibals crouching round the pot, staring away at something hot. It smells good. What it can be? Good gracious, it is Penelope. So they used to read the stories of cannibals. They were sitting in front of a pot and staring something hot. They were cooking something. The stories of cannibals who were cooking something, and they smell the things, the dish, and they say, it is good gracious, it is Penelope. It is a Penelope means it is a dish made with a duck. So here the poet says an idea about the types of books children used to read. The children they used to read the books related to dragons, gypsies, queens, whales, treasure islands, distant shores where smugglers used to travel in a careful manner without making any noise. Then about the pirates, those who wore pink pants, and the stories about sailing elephants and ships. Then the stories about the cannibals, those were cooking a special dish. And then other types of books children used to do, and some of the characters there in the books. The younger ones had Beatrix Potter. Beatrix Potter, she is a famous writer. She used to write books for children. So the younger ones had Beatrix Potter. So the younger children, they used to read the books of Beatrix Potter. In the following lines, we will see some of the characters discussed in the writings of Beatrix Potter. With Mr. Todd, the dirty rotter, and Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and Miss Tiggy Winkle, and just how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, and Mr. Todd, and bless my soul, there is Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. Oh books, what books they used to know, those children living long ago. So the children, those who were living long in the past, they got a wonderful chance to read different types of books. And one of the famous writer who wrote books for children, that is Beatrix Potter, and in her writing we can find different types of characters, mainly animals. And children, those who were living in the past, with interest they read such a kind of novels and stories. First here the poet says that with Mr. Todd, the dirty rotter, and unkind and rude Mr. Todd, and a Squirrel Nutkin, another character, then Pigling Bland, and Mr. and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, another third character, and just how the camel got his hump, the story related to how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, how the monkey lost his rump, the story related to that. then and Mr. Toad, and bless my soul, there is Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. And these types of stories and the stories related to animals, children they used to read with interest. So in this class we had seen the answer given by poet, and in the last class we had seen the parents they asked one question, what we can do to entertain our children, and how did the past generation they became self-satisfied and happy. The answer, the poet he provided that they used to read books. They used to read more and more books, and everywhere books scattered, and once they finish one book then they start with another. And there were many beautiful stories, the tales about gypsies, dragons, whales, and the pirates, cannibals, and the books of Beatrix Potter. And in the books of Beatrix Potter there are many characters which gave a new kind of imagination to the children, and children they used to read the books of Beatrix Potter with great interest. So I hope that this part is clear to you, and in the next class we will see what is the another solution given by poet. Okay, already poet he noticed that many children are watching television and they are addicted to that one, and he is sure that it will kill the imagination of children. So he says to parents that in earlier times children they used to read the books, and now what is the solution that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.